Welcome to the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast. I'm Joy Taylor. You can catch us Monday through Friday at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific on FS1. Here's what this podcast is all about. It's an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the day's show, and there is a lot to get into in today's podcast. Shannon says no way, no chance the Oakland Raiders can win the AFC. Skip and Dez Bryant are back at it again on Twitter. Skip contends that Tony Romo is not an all-time great quarterback. Plus, Hall of Fame wideout Chris Carter drops by to tell us the real issue with Dez. Should Ezekiel Elliott be compared to Emmitt Smith? And is a Pacquiao-Mayweather rematch inevitable? Skip and Shannon, let's debate. We're starting it off with a big win by the Raiders. Shannon kind of has Raiders colors on today. The Raiders took sole possession of first place in the AFC West after beating the Broncos 30-20 last night. Latavius Murray had 3 rushing touchdowns, and Oakland ran for 218 yards, the most rushing yards given up by the Broncos since 2012. So, Skip, you picked the Raiders to win the West at the start of the season.
I did.
What are their chances of winning the AFC?
By the way, you made a good point that the former Bronco great has on Raiders colors. Is that an homage?
This is Navy.
Navy?
Yes.
Navy?
Navy?
It's Navy.
Yeah, if that's Navy, I'm in the Navy.
I'm not colorblind.
Well, did you dodge the draft or something I don't know about?
I did not. Back to Joy's point. I did pick the Raiders before the season started to win the AFC West, and I feel real good about that. But after last night, I can see the Oakland Raiders going 12-4. I can see the Oakland Raiders having the second seed in the AFC. I can see the Oakland Raiders having a bye with a shot to win one home game to get to Foxborough for a shot to get to the Super Bowl. And wouldn't the National Football League love a Raiders-Cowboys Super Bowl, baby? How about that? You'd love it, wouldn't you?
No.
No, thank you. Maybe I'm getting a little ahead of myself here, but the Oakland Raiders starting last night started to remind me of my favorite team on the other side of the bracket, the Dallas Cowboys. Raiders looking just like the Cowboys because, like the Cowboys, the Raiders are winning by winning time of possession, by winning the turnover battle, and by keeping an average defense off the field. By far, the 2 best offensive lines in football belong to number 1, Dallas, number 2, Oakland. Am I right?
You're absolutely right.
Thank you very much. And last night, that Oakland offensive line bullied your Bronco front 7. Bullied them, embarrassed the Denver Broncos on a national TV game. You want to talk about playing keep away? The Raiders kept the ball for 41 minutes to Denver's 19 minutes. That's humiliating. Oakland rushed, as Joy pointed out, for 218 yards to Denver's meager 33 yards rushing. That will not work.
Nope.
Oakland is now +9 in turnovers, having won last night's battle 2-0. That's 3rd in the National Football League. That will win a lot of football games. And Derek Carr, whom I love, set the tone with 108 yards passing in the first quarter. Guess how many he had for the last 3 quarters? 76 yards passing in the last 3 because he was not needed. And to his credit, he didn't do anything real stupid. He probably got away with the near interception. It was very close that T.J. Ward had, but couldn't quite hold on. That was the only dumb move he made all last night. But he really wasn't needed because Latavius Murray, again, as Joy pointed out, went for 114. And then the lightning to his thunder, little Jalen Richard, he goes for 62 more. So, no, Denver didn't have to lead. And, yes, Denver lost Derek Wolfe, who's a big mainstay in that defense front, and he's got a fractured elbow, and I don't know what his status is going to be going forward, if he can play with it or not. But a Raider team that is 5-0 on the road looked dominant at home against its arch rival. So I say, yes, they will win the West, and I say now, yes, they will at least be a threat to Tom Brady's New England Patriots.
Will they win the West? Maybe. Will they win the AFC? Absolutely. 1,000%, 1,000,000% not.
Okay, but this is a breakthrough for you to even give it a maybe in the West, right?
No, they're not winning, but that wasn't the question.
Okay.
The question was, will they win the AFC? No. No, no, no. And in the words of my great friend Rob Parker, no way, no how.
Now you're quoting Rob Parker to make your arguments?
Skip, the Broncos played their worst game of the season by far. You mentioned some of the key points. Only 12 rush attempts. You're trying to beat a team with as high-powered offense as the Raiders have, just running the football 12 times. And when you run the football, when you only run it 12 times, and you go 3 and out, 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 3 and out. No matter how great your defense is, eventually they will start to crack and they will start to show vulnerabilities. Not only running the football 12 times, but now you're asking Trevor Siemian to throw the football 40 times. That's not a recipe for success in this offense. The recipe is run the football, even if you can just get, sometimes you just run just to give the receivers a break and give your offensive linemen a break from getting in pass stance. You just want to lay on some people. You look at this, 12 rush attempts, 40 throws, 19 minutes time of possession. The Raiders almost possessed the ball 42 minutes, Skip. I've never been in a game like this. I've never seen a game like this when someone almost possessed the ball where they possessed it 2 to 1.
Twice, yeah.
This came down to as simple as this, the tale of two running games. The Broncos' inability to run the football and the Raiders' ability to insert their will, their dominance, and run the football. You mentioned over 200 yards rushing. They had 76 plays. 43 of those plays were rush attempts. And they averaged like over 5. You're not beating anybody. And everybody talked about Peyton Manning and all these guys that the Broncos lost. The main person they lost that they missed most is Malik Jackson. Because Malik Jackson he is a true 5, and he's struggling a little bit as far as on the football field. His bank account isn't struggling at all. His bank account is looking real good. But what he was able to do, he and Wolf, they made you one-dimensional because they refused to allow you to run the football. Then that allowed Von Miller, Shane Ray, Shaquille Barrett to pin their ears back. Now you have to sit in there. You can't get off the ball because you run up the field. Now they're going to run the ball in gaps. I think the game changed with 3 minutes and 17 seconds left in the third quarter. The ball was on the Broncos' own 47-yard line on a 3rd and 1, and this happened. Now, for me, I would like to see the guys just line up and run the football. Demaryius Thomas has to make that catch.
He does. I agree.
Because as a top-flight receiver, you must make more difficult catches than not. And that wasn't too difficult of a catch. Yeah, it was below his eye line, but he still has to somehow find a way to make that catch. So you have an opportunity. As poorly as you played in the first half, you have an opportunity to either be up 14-13 or be down 13-10. Well, you miss that, you punt the football, they go down and score a touchdown. Now it's 27 at the half. And really, the Broncos really never challenged after that point. Skip, I don't think you can be a Super Bowl or an AFC contender with that type of defense. When you're 28th in pass, 20th in rush defense, and 27th in total defense, I don't believe there's no way, no how, no matter how talented your offense is, because the one time that they struggle, can you win a game for them? And I don't believe you can.
I did think that the Raiders defense flashed for me off my TV screen. Players made some plays. Now, they weren't on the field very much. We just talked about time of possession. But when they were, I saw Khalil Mack push the pocket back in Trevor Siemian's face. I saw some good things happen in the secondary. I saw people covered. I saw plays broken up. So I saw them. Remember, they're just a baby team to me. They're just growing.
They're really young.
They're just feeling, oh, wait, we didn't realize we were this good. That was a huge statement game for them in an internal statement game. They're going to springboard off this. And again, if I look down the schedule, they've got effectively 3 home games, although the Houston game's in Mexico City. It's a home game for the Raiders. But then they have Carolina and Buffalo. Could they win those 3 games in a row? You got it. And then the problem with the schedule is it's completely backloaded because the Raiders have to play all 3 division road games in the last 4 games of the year. But could they go win at San Diego? Sure, they could win at San Diego. They're lucky to beat San Diego at home, of course. But they have Indy at home. I could see where even if they lost at Kansas City and at Denver the last game of the year, I could still see 12-4. And Shannon, all I'm saying is that would be good enough, I think, at this point, unless you can show me somebody coming out of the woodwork right now, as we're a little more than halfway through the year. I'm looking at the 2 seed for the Raiders, which means a bye and a home game. So are they a threat to Tom Brady? I don't know. It'd be interesting because they'd be a threat to New England's defense. I can tell you that.
It's not very often that the Raiders are going to win the penalty
Okay.
battle. The Broncos committed more penalties than the
did.
Raiders after the Raiders had just committed an NFL record, 23. The Broncos had 12 penalties, 2 turnovers, 19 minutes time of possession, and only 12 rush attempts. You're not beating anyone, regardless of how bad they play defense, with those numbers. And if you cannot get more production running the football, if you're going to ask Trevor Siemian to throw the football in excess of anywhere between anything over 5 times a game is too much for Trevor Siemian.
I agree.
If he has to throw the football between 35 and 45 times, you're not winning. And they might not win very many more games. Is this going to be the recipe in which they're going to use?
Okay.
Now, they will get to Lee back. They will get Webster back at some point. And we saw last night, as much as you like Bradley Roby, he's not a key to leave. Because now when you lose to Lee and Webster, now you bring in Doss. Now you bring in other guys. So now you're using your 4th and 5th corners.
They did.
Against their –
They picked on the 5th corner last night on a deep ball.
Well, they picked on Roby. Roby didn't have his bet, and it started early. And the one thing that the really good and to great corners can do, if they get beat early, they can block it out, come back and play their ball game. Roby couldn't do that last night. He gave up the ball early, and he wasn't the same guy. Chris Harris Jr., he struggled a little bit. But I'm going to give the Raiders credit. They played well, but the Broncos, I didn't see enough from the Raiders to make me think they can challenge the Patriots in the AFC. Because right now, basically, it's the Patriots, and then, it's the Patriots 1, the Patriots 2, the Patriots 3.
Okay, I got
then you
that.
go 4, 5,
I
6.
agree, but I could see them being the second-best team in the AFC, and that's pretty great.
That's only the 4th seed.
Huh? The 4th seed?
Yeah, it's the Patriots A, the Patriots B, the Patriots C.
All right, I see. But if you go to Foxborough, at least you have a shot. I mean, you get to play to go to the Super Bowl.
It's sports. And sports, it's not Hollywood, so they're unscripted. So anything can happen. But I wouldn't bet that somebody would have to take out my trash for the rest of the year. The Raiders win the AFC, because I already know it's a dumb bet and I'm going to lose, so I just might as well prepare myself to get ready to take out my own trash. So I'm not even making that bet.
Okay, would Tom Brady throw for 500 yards on the Oakland defense? He well might if he had the ball long enough to throw for 500 yards. Could the Raiders control the football against
They could. Now, that's one thing. Now, they can run the football. The soul patrolling, that's what they call their offensive line, and they were roaming last night. Woo. I mean, they were gashing. But when you're 3rd and short, and you have to worry about, they still have Cooper, they still have Crabtree, they still have Roberts, they still have all these receivers, and you get like, okay. And now you're like, we got to get up the field. And now they hand the ball off, and you're 3rd and 1, and then you got Murray going for 40 yards. Or you get the guy in the backfield, and he still somehow breaks 3 or 4 tackles, and he goes 12 yards. So if they run the ball like they ran last night, 43, 50 attempts, and they averaging 5 yards a carry, absolutely, because they're going to keep Tom Brady off the field. But here's the thing. Tom Brady's going to score every time he gets the football. So they're going to have to score every time they get the football. Because that defense and Tom Brady with his weapons, with Gronk and Edelman, man, please.
Okay, I got you. And I would be with you on that, except we're just talking about could the Raiders get to Foxborough for the AFC title game? I think you're saying, yeah, they could.
Well, I'm thinking they're going to probably catch a flight or go see somebody else playing in the AFC Championship game. Skip, when you have here's the thing. If you have a weakness and you make it to the playoffs, it will get exposed, and it gets magnified in a real bad way. Because you remember when the Colts, they went to the AFC Championship game against the Patriots.
You mean the Deflategate game?
Yes.
Or there were a couple of them.
And the Patriots ran for like 10,000 yards because the weakness was their rush defense.
Yep.
And it got exposed. So now you're like, whoa, wait a minute. And the Raiders, with that pass secondary, man, Tom Brady will I guarantee you, he'll set a playoff record. If he plays this team in the playoffs in Foxborough, he'll set a playoff record with passing yards. Okay,
I got you. So I'm going into concrete in early November. I got Raiders going 12-4. I got your Broncos going 10-6. And I got Kansas City, for whom I have respect, going 11-5 and finishing a game behind the Raiders in the West.
No mercy. Dez Bryant had just 1 catch for 19 yards in yesterday's 35-10 win by the Cowboys in Cleveland. Bryant was targeted 4 times and was noticeably frustrated on the sidelines. During the game yesterday, Skip, you tweeted, interesting, Dak gets on Dez for not running his route harder. Good for Dak. And now if the Cowboys can just figure out how to get Dez calmed down and into the Dak attack flow in the second half. 0 catches so far. Well, Dez responded after the game, tweeting, 35-10 with a win, 7-1 record. I'll take that any day. Don't lie and say I'm pissed about the ball. I care about winning. Skip, stop being a distraction.
Yes. You heard, Dez.
I heard it.
What's your reaction to that, Skip?
My reaction is that is the classic case of the pot calling the kettle a distraction. Dez was once again a huge distraction yesterday on what I thought was a great day for my Dallas Cowboys. You can say it was just the Browns, but this is a young, on-the-verge team trying to figure itself out. My Cowboys were highly impressive because, as you well know from your glory days with Denver and obviously Baltimore, you know what good teams do?
Yes.
They jump on bad teams from the start, and they blow them out
down.
even on the road. And yesterday, Cleveland got beat down in a hurry because Dak Prescott, my man Dak, had by far the highest QBR in the NFL yesterday at 97 on a scale of 0 to 100. Pretty impressive, albeit against the Cleveland Browns. Now let's get to the one negative yesterday. The one, if I may, X factor, as in throw up the X factor in the Dak attack. Second series of the game, 3rd and 5. Dak throws what I thought was an on-the-money pass over the middle on a slant route to Dez Bryant. He was challenged for the football. He did not come away with the football. And Shannon, I thought he should have fought a little harder and made that catch. He immediately complained that he was interfered with. And he went on and he went on and he carried it onto the sideline. Next up, next play, deep route to Dez Bryant. Dak looked for him and didn't throw it to him. And I'm not exactly sure what happened, if he either didn't run the correct route or didn't run it very hard. The commentators said Dez didn't run the route hard enough. And Dak Prescott got on Dez Bryant, which I loved, as I tweeted, because that showed leadership. And after the game, Dez complimented Dak on his leadership. And Dak was quoted after the game as saying, I've got to manage the offense, and that includes managing the people, the attitudes, and the emotions. Dez is a guy we need. We don't need him getting emotional. Way to go, young man. Call him out. Put him in his place. Will Dez Bryant stand for that in the long run? I say no. So let me keep going. Next, Dez Bryant, deep route. Got a step on Joe Hayden. Hayden clearly did interfere, got his hand on his inside arm.
Yes.
And he had a definite beef, did Dez Bryant. But again, you got to power up through the contact and catch a perfect deep throw. Just to me, you still got to make that play.
You can't because his arm is pinned.
Okay.
Look at Joe Hayden. He's got his left arm. So
Fight through it. I'm just saying, if you're one of those, if you're hungry enough, you battle through the contact and you come down with that catch. I'm just saying, was it not a perfectly thrown deep ball?
It was a perfect thrown pass.
Thank you.
But it was also pass interference. Ball should have been on the 1 yard.
So over-emotional again. Oh, my God. He rants and he raves and throws another tantrum. And then finally, he actually made the one catch. It was the third play of the third quarter, just a deep out for 19 yards. It was an easy throwing catch. I'll give him that. But finally, 3:20 left in the third quarter. Cowboys driving, 1st and 10 at the Cleveland 14. Dez goes over the middle, and there was only one drop in the entire game, and it was on this play. Another on-the-money throw. He just couldn't hang on. Is he a little distracted? Is he a little out of rhythm, out of sync because his man Tony Romo is not back yet? Would he be better with Tony Romo? Sure he would. They made each other. They were perfect for each other. They were, at times in 2014, the most explosive duo in pro football. It was a catch in Green Bay. It should have been this.
No.
Yes.
It wasn't a catch. And stop throwing the X up.
Okay. But those days are over. There's a new sheriff in town in Dallas, Texas, and his name is Dak Prescott. And my gut feeling from here forward is that Dez Bryant can never be a content cog in the Dak attack because Dez doesn't have content cog in his makeup. It's just not who he is. He has to be the man as the explosive player in the offense run by Tony Romo. So this is just me. I don't think that Dez is ever going to be happy with Dak Prescott and the Dak attack, and I hope I'm wrong about that.
What your reaction to Dez's tweet? Dez, I feel your pain because Skip is a distraction to me at times. I don't tweet it. I just tell him about it.
Yeah.
Skip, I'm thinking you're starting to annoy Dez. You're starting to get up on his skin.
Starting to. I have for about a month now, right?
No, longer than that. I think it's longer than that.
Yep.
It's bothering him because he's seeing a guy in his 14th season in Jason Witten who's supposedly slowing down. He sees an undrafted free agent in Cole Beasley getting targets that he normally gets. Mm-hmm. He's seeing Jason Witten put up catches, yards, and touchdowns that he normally gets. See, what we tell everyone, hard work pays off. So Dez says, I'm practicing. I'm putting all my effort in. I'm meeting. I'm showing up on time, hopefully. I'm showing up on time. I'm getting extra film study in. And when it comes to the game, it's not paying off. It's like a worker. You go to work and you work really hard. You expect your hard work to pay off. Maybe in a promotion, maybe in a raise. But you want to see your hard work validated. Well, Dez feels his hard work is not being validated. But what Dez has to understand, a lot of times, Dez, I was in the very situation, and I had great weeks of practice, and I studied really hard. And at the end of and come Sunday, game in, I got 3 catches for 25 yards. I got 3 catches for 40 yards. And I'm saying to myself, dang, here I am. I'm putting all this time into practice. I'm doing everything that they're asking me to do. And Roz got 7. Ed's got 6. But I realized early on, although every hard work and every week of hard work might not necessarily pay off at the end of that week, the hard work will eventually pay off. And that was the thing that kept me focused and kept me positive. See, Dez, I had one catch. Receivers, this is how they think, because I was a receiver once upon a time. I wasn't a very good one. That's why I moved to tight end. I want to win, Skip. I really do. And I'll do anything I can to win. But I feel a lot better, and I sleep a lot better at night if I got 7 catches for $115 and a touchdown. So for Dez to say he's happy with 1 catch, he's being disingenuous. Because look at the Cubs pitcher, Miguel Montero. They won the World Series. He's complaining about his usage in that series. So here is a guy. He's not the guy because that belongs to Chris Bryant. That belongs to Rizzo. That belongs to, Russell and Hayward and all these other guys. But here's just a guy saying, I'm happy we won, but I'm disappointed how I was used. So you want me to think, here's a guy that's won the World for the first time in 108 years. Mm-hmm. They won the World Series. And he's complaining. And you expect me. Now, I know Dez is going to put on his positive face, and that's what he should do. But I know it's eating him up inside. But my thing to him, Dez, keep working hard, keep your mouth closed, because this is a battle you cannot win. This is why he's always giving you status updates on Tony Romo.
I agree.
Nobody asked him about Tony Romo. Oh, Tony Romo got to have. Tony Romo is throwing missiles.
Lost weight.
Oh, whoa, wait a minute. Mm-hmm. What about the guy that's starting?
Yep.
He might not have no abs. He might not be throwing missiles. Mm-mm. But you're 5-1, you're 6-1, you're 7-1. Mm-hmm. That should mean something.
Yep.
I think the thing is for Dez, if it's not bothering him, if it's not bothering him as much as he's letting on, why does he feel the need to reach out to you to say him catching 1 pass and a win is he's not being a distraction, but you're being a distraction for bringing it to everyone's attention? Normally, when people say it's not this, it's probably that. When they say it's not about the money, what's this about, Skip? It's about the money. Look, and he wants validation. He wants to say, look, I'm putting all this hard work in. I need to get paid off at the end of the week. End of the week is Sunday or Monday. I need my payoff. Dez, keep your mouth shut because you can't win this. They're winning. Your quarterback's playing well. The offense is in complete flow. Don't you disturb his groove.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. So you think he scanned that stat sheet and he saw that Witten and Cole Beasley had a combined 16 targets to his 4 total targets, and it did not sit well.
Skip, after the ball game, one of the first things I did when I got on the bus, I grabbed the stat sheet from the seat.
I would think you would, and you would memorize it.
Now, I already know. I already know what I had. Because, I'm like, okay, I'm looking like, okay. I had 3. I know what I had. Man, Rob had 10 minutes. The running back. Yeah, man, that was a good win for us. I'm so happy. Hey, we're winning. I can't complain, but I'm saying, okay, let me just go back to my grind, keep my head down, don't cause any fusses because, hey, I said I want to win, and I sincerely wanted to win.
Yep.
But I would love to be a part. I would love to be a bigger part in us winning.
Right.
See, that's the thing. Maybe Dez is not going to cause a problem. Maybe it's not bothering him, but he would like to be a bigger part of the success because right now he's not a big part of their success. Is Zeke running the football? Cole Beasley getting up third downs, and so now he's not. Normally, when the Cowboys played really well, before Dak got into the lineup, it was Tony Romo and Dez.
Correct.
That's what it was.
They went as those two went.
And those two went. Mm-hmm. That's why they tried to rush him back last year when he broke the foot.
Definitely.
Because they didn't feel they could win without his big play potential.
Yep.
Now, Tony's out. They're winning. Dez goes out. They're winning. So, and they're not winning in spite of Dak. They're winning because of that.
Thank you.
So now this is the problem because how can you complain when the guy's playing, he's 21 or 27. The guy is not putting the ball in harm's way because he knows this. When Dez got upset on the sideline, the next series, Tony Romo was going to give him 2 passes. Now, it doesn't matter if he was triple coverage or they had all 11 guys on Dez.
Yep.
He was going to give him his opportunity to get him back in his good graces because we need Dez, and we can't have him blowing up on the sideline. Dak Prescott's like, bro, I'm going to give you opportunities, but only when they are there. Yep. I'm not forcing anything. Why should I force a ball when Jason Witten is running wide open? Why should I force a ball when Cole Beasley is wide open? So force your ball into double coverage when these two guys are running scot-free. It makes no sense to me.
Yep.
And the only thing is I wish Dak wouldn't have grabbed him by the collar like that. I wish you'd have let Dez go sit down and go sit down beside him. That's the only thing, Skip. If I'm upset, don't grab me. Hey.
That's fair.
Hey, bro, can I talk to you for a second?
I agree.
And I'm good. But don't grab me like that's the only problem I had with Dak. I think he's playing unbelievable. You know how Dez is. He's very emotional. Don't grab him like that because maybe in years past he would have get your hands off me, and you don't want that.
Nope.
So that was the only problem that I have, and I know the frustration that he's going through right now. But it's a tough situation when you're winning. You're not really helping in why they win, and they paid you an awful lot of money, and you work really hard during the course of the week, and that hard work is not paying off at the end of the week.
So speaking of how well you keep up with your stats, you know them inside and out. Mm-hmm. I heard something on the broadcast yesterday, and I don't even know what the stat was, but that old slow Jason Witten caught Shannon Sharp on some all-time list. I don't even know what it was. Can you help me with this, Mr. Sharp?
You know what it was, Skip.
I don't know.
You tweeted it.
I don't even know what it was.
First of all, Skip, you're being disingenuous. You tweeted.
I can't even remember what it was. Some all-time, some stat. Help me.
He tied me for fourth most on the touchdown.
Aha. Old slow Jason Witten. Huh?
Skip.
How did he do that?
You want to go strap him back on and catch a few more?
The dude got 14,000 catches. He finally caught me. I mean, it's about time. No, but I have anytime I'm happy for all players because I know how hard it is to play at this level. I have a special adoration and admiration for guys that play my position.
I know. Because
I know what it takes because a lot of stuff that you do goes unnoticed. And so I don't know Jason like I knew Gonzo, and Gonzo and we kind of overlap.
Tony Gonzalez.
Gonzalez. Antonio Gates. I know him. Yep. We have a relationship. I don't really know Jason like that, but I nothing but kudos. But I don't have any more records.
He's doing it very differently than the way you did it.
Yeah.
He's using that big old body to shield people and catch balls underneath.
But, Skip, I don't have any more. I mean, think about it, what he said. He tied. I'm for fourth. Shouldn't you want to be first? I got no records. Gates and Gonzalez got all the records. I got nothing. Skip.
Well, now Jason Witten needs a ring to validate all those catches, right?
Yeah, I'm sure he would. And I used to tell Tony, I say, Tony, would you be willing to trade a couple of hundred of those catches for a chance at least get in the game? And that's all you can really hope for.
Yep.
You just want to get to that game and then let the chips fall where they may. For to play as long as he's played, Jason, and I don't think he's had any serious injuries. Mm-hmm. He comes out there every single week. He puts it on the he's the consummate pro. We have very different, I was loud and boisterous and outspoken. He seems to be a lot more reserved and behind the scenes, but he has the same desires. He wants to be great. He wanted to be great. He wants to catch the football, and he wants an opportunity to get to and win a Super Bowl. Because you played that long, Skip, that's a sad feeling to play 14, 15 years and not reach the ultimate level, which you get to and win a Super Bowl.
You reached it 3 times.
Let's stay in Dallas. The Cowboys once again won a game, and once again, Jerry Jones spent the postgame talking about Tony Romo. Jerry said, "We've got a great luxury and a wonderful problem to have. We've got some real talent at our quarterback position. I think Tony Romo is one of the best quarterbacks that has played this game. My real regret would be to have had him here and not win a Super Bowl with him. Ugh. He's that talented." Ugh. And then I look at Dak and see how he's playing, his future. I just don't have a problem with this situation. I wish we had cameras on the two of you.
Before you go, is he saying Tony Romo is one of the all-time greats or one of the all-time great quarterbacks?
He said, I think Tony Romo is one of the best quarterbacks that has played this game.
Ever played. That's what he just said.
And my real regret would be to have had him here and not win a Super Bowl with him. Skip, what do you make of this?
First of all, allow me to say, when Jerry once again proclaims this a wonderful problem, that is the biggest bunch of baloney that ever came out of Jerry Jones' mouth. Mm-hmm. Then he did say a lot of nice things about Dak, how great it is, beautiful it is that he's getting so many reps so early in his career in real games that Tony Romo did not get. It's always in the Romo context. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Then he waxed poetic to Jerry Jones about his boy, Tony Romo. Mm-hmm. And he made that statement. It was horrifyingly revealing that you just read twice, Joy. The real regret would be to have had Tony Romo, whom he's designating as one of the best ever, and to have won a Super Bowl with Tony Romo. Well, first of all, one of the best ever? I mean, I like Tony, but come on. A 2-4 playoff record in 10 seasons as a starter, so he made the playoffs 4 times in 10 years. Jerry, he's not all-time great. Stop it. Yeah. He's really good, but he's not that guy. He's not up there in the top echelon.
Let's just take, for the sake of argument, the 20-plus guys that's in the Hall of Fame. Forget the guys that's not even in the Hall of Fame. Let's just take those guys.
Right.
So we're starting at 20-plus and moving down. Right. And I can think of a lot of guys like Kurt Warner. He's not better than, but hey, I digress.
We could do that, and I would be right there with you. As big a fan as I have been of Tony Romo's, you are correct, sir. Now, back to the point. He's revealing his heart to you publicly. That's what he's doing.
Yes.
Because he loves him some Tony Romo. And as much as I have campaigned on this show for Jerry to step up after the Philly game a week ago and say it is now Dak Prescott's job for the rest of the year. No ifs, ands, or buts. Tony, when he returns, will be our backup quarterback. He's not going to make that declaration. Nope. As much as I campaigned at the trade deadline, just rid yourself of the temptation, Jerry. People are going to want to pay a lot for Tony Romo. You could get draft picks to build around Dak Prescott. I'm convinced he's real. I think you're now convinced he is the real deal. You could win championships, plural, going forward with Dak and Zeke and the offensive line. You've been making the point. They're set up to be dynastic here, right? Yes. Going into the future. This is a very young football team that could go a long way for a long time. So I said, just trade Tony, to rid the temptation and get a lot in return for him and get out from under the $24 million that you're cap strapped with him over the next 3 years. You could have been done with it. But no. Here's what Jerry wants. He wants for Dak to eventually hand Tony Romo a made-to-order Super Bowl. For the first time, you could just hand it to Tony here. I don't know what the record's going to be, but I'm going to stand by what I've been predicting now for 3 weeks. The watershed moment is going to come at Pittsburgh next week, back in your hometown, because The Steelers, to me, are most dangerous when they go on the road and get embarrassed or humiliated. This time, yesterday, by their arch rival in Baltimore. We all know the Ravens are not very good, and they somehow managed to block a punt for a touchdown and get Mike Wallace loose for a 95-yard touchdown, and they beat Ben coming off knee surgery 21-14. Well, remember what happened after Pittsburgh went to Philly, kind of an in-state rival, and lost 34-3. They went home and crushed a really good Kansas City team. Remember this? It's 43-13. Okay, that it shapes up to have that kind of outcome next week. I hope I'm wrong about this, but I'm on the record. If Dak loses next week at Pittsburgh, and it might not be his fault at all, let's just say if the Cowboys lose next week at Pittsburgh to fall to 7-2, I will bet you Tony Romo takes over the following week against Baltimore at Jerry World. I will just bet you that it's made to, that's what Jerry, he just showed you his heart. He showed you, I need Tony before he's done to win one Super. We got to win one together here. And Dak has made it possible because he has set us up through the first 8 games to win a Super Bowl. That's what's going on. That's what I heard. I'm sorry. Over and out. It would be the biggest mistake Jerry Jones has ever made in his career.
What did I've been telling you this, Skip? I've been telling you this.
You've been wishing and hoping for it. That's what you've been doing.
I told you the reason why Jerry will not come out and say Dak is our starter, because he believed in Tony Romo when no one else did. He said we can win a Super Bowl with Tony Romo.
He did.
This would be the ultimate validation. Jerry Jones has won 3 Super Bowls as owner of the Cowboys. But everyone said Jimmy won those. When he fired Jimmy and Barry Switzer won one, they said he won with Jimmy's players.
They did.
So now the deck is clear. No more Jimmy players, no more Jimmy influence. This is all about Jerry Jones. And this would validate, because I paid him. I'm paying him because I believe he is a Super Bowl winning quarterback. I'm paying him as such.
Correct.
And if we were to get, and he said it, and I said, oh, Jerry, get out my mouth, Jerry, talking. I told Jerry about talking behind what I said. He told you, Skip, believe him. He would be happy, but not nearly as happy if he won it with Tony.
No doubt.
If you look at, let's just, high school coaches, when they have sons, 80, I would say 75 to 85%, a high school coach, and they have a son, what position does he play?
QB.
Jerry Jones' son.
Joe Klatt, there's a great example, right? Go ahead.
Jerry Jones' son, Tony Romo Jones.
He does. Yep, you got it.
Skip, it would crush him, Skip. It would hurt him so bad that our greatest crowning achievement in the Tony Romo era, he didn't get to enjoy it. See, remember, that's what we said about Dez now. Now we're getting to see what Dez like, hold on. See, Dez wants to be a part of this. This is not good enough for Jerry to win a Super Bowl and number 9 is not his starter. That wouldn't do him justice.
Well, it doesn't do him any good. He can't take credit because, remember, Dak was not his guy. Paxton Lynch was his guy. Maybe Connor Cook was his guy. Once upon a time, Johnny Manziel was his guy. Dak was not his guy. Tony was his guy. When so many people said you can't win with Tony Romo, Jerry bet the ranch, as in Valley Ranch, where their headquarters used to be. He bet Valley Ranch on Tony Romo and gave him the current contract.
$108 million, 55 guaranteed.
Against the court of public opinion, he said, watch what I'm going to do. I'm going to show you I'm going to go win a Super Bowl by myself with Tony Romo Jones, as you call him. You're right.
Dak Prescott has given him 5 opportunities from 0-1 to 1-1 to 2-1 to 3-1. So here we are now. What are they, 7-1? He's given him 5 opportunities to say he's our guy.
He has.
And Jerry won't do it. He keeps saying this is a great problem to have. I love having 2 great quarterbacks, although you can only play one. You can't serve 2.
Nope.
You either love one and you'll end up despising the other. So what's it going to be? Eventually, you're going to have to make a decision. And I believe you're right, Skip. I don't like agreeing with you because you're seldom right. But in this case, I believe you're 1,000% right. If they were to lose this game, because Tony's not even healthy to be the backup. Tony's not healthy to be active. They lose this game, all of a sudden, a guy that goes from not being healthy enough to be active, not healthy enough to play, is going to be inserted into the starting lineup.
He would have his excuse and his entree to say, aha.
That's it.
He's just a kid, and the game got a little too big for him. We got to go back to our man number 9. Here we go.
He has every skill. And think about this. What other situation have you ever seen an owner and a head coach when the backup plays this well? Now, there are no questions. You look at the situation last year with Brock Osweiler and Peyton Manning, and you look at that situation like, well, Brock really, he could have slammed the door, but he left the door ajar, and Gary Kubiak, the head coach, walked in and says, okay, I'm bringing Peyton with me. What reason have you seen, Jerry, that wouldn't be your guy moving forward? What has he done? Okay, let me take this back, because all he does is win. What haven't you seen him do that would convince you that you're better off with Tony Romo?
Wear number 9. That's all. That's all he can't do.
Skip,
he can't wear 9.
Skip, you see, if you notice, guys win championships, what do they bring the kids? They have the kids because they want them to share in that glory. If they win the Super Bowl, Jerry is the Super Bowl winning owner, and he can't bring his son, Tony Romo Jones, along for the ride and have him hold the trophy. Because normally the trophy goes owner, head coach, quarterback. If Dak Prescott, that quarterback, Tony ain't going to get the check, they're not going to let him on the podium. Because, you take the quarterback, you take the MVP, whoever that is, they go up there. Maybe
that would hurt Jerry Jones.
Skip. 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 We may have to commit, Jerry. That would hurt. That would hurt, Skip.
Yep.
But think, Skip. That just goes to show you, a man would rather possibly lose a chance of going to the Super Bowl than winning with Dak Prescott or winning any other way. A lot of coaches are like this, Skip. I would rather lose my way than win someone else's way. And Jerry is saying, I would rather. He's not saying this, but his actions. See, I see better than I hear. I hear what you keep saying, but I see what you're trying to do behind the scenes. And it's being very unfair. You know what, Skip? I don't particularly like the Cowboys. That's no secret. But I kind of want Dak Prescott. I want Dak Prescott over the next 7 games. They're 7-1. Oh, so the next 8 games, I want Dak to have maybe 16 to 23 touchdowns, because I want him to hold on to that job.
You know what I want? I want 15-1.
Skip. Skip.
That's what I want. Because that's the only way. That's the only way.
And then, because Jerry, Skip, I don't know what you're going to have to write another book. You have to write another book on Jerry Jones. I just might. Can I do the forward?
But
let me do the forward, Skip. I just want to do the forward.
You see what he's trying to do to me, right?
What I'm trying to do?
He is wishing and hoping that Jerry blows this thing up.
Skip, you know Jerry better than I do. Yep. You already know what he's going to do. I told you why he was doing it. Because he wants validation. He wants Tony Romo to get the credit. Although Dak has got him to this point. No. I want Tony to bring us on home.
No mercy. Joining us now is a Pro Football Hall of Famer and 8-time Pro Bowler, Chris Carter. Welcome to Undisputed.
Well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Good to see you.
Good seeing you, man.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Hey.
Now you got some competition.
We're in this little small room together. CC, but
I'm just asking the coach what you want to do. You want to move the chains? You want to score a touchdown? That's what
all he does is catch touchdowns.
So I'll let him move the chains.
But on this show, all he's going to do is catch hell, right?
Yeah, that's it from both sides.
All right, well, let me get a drink first. Here we go.
All right, let's do it. Well, since Chris is here, we need to talk wide receivers. Dez Bryant only had 1 catch for 19 yards and a dropped pass in the Cowboys' win yesterday. During the Fox halftime show yesterday, Howie Long talked about Dak not targeting Dez more in the first half. Let's take a listen.
He's not forcing the ball to Dez, and I'm sure there's a lot of pressure to do that because Dez is a guy who gives us a weekly report on Tony Romo's status. Tony's throwing the ball really well, looking great in practice.
Chris, after just 1 catch for Dez yesterday, do you think that he wants Tony Romo back at quarterback?
I don't think he wants Romo back at quarterback, but you have to realize what's going on in Dallas and what's been going on there for several years. The marquee players are Dez Bryant and Tony Romo. and they generate all the attention. So the media, from a media standpoint, I understand what Howie's saying, but what was the score of the game at the time? All right? So the game was not being contested, a tightly contested game. So that's what the conversation should have been. But the sidebar is always the wide receiver because we're special. We're always complaining for the ball. And anytime we say anything demonstrative, it's got to be throw me the football. But it's not always that way. This is what I believe the Dez Bryant dilemma is right now. At the age of 28, and the reason why I understand this, because at the age of 28, I made my first Pro Bowl. People got on Buddy Ryan. They said, well, what? All he does is catch a touchdown. Because I was a limited wide receiver. Didn't have great speed and was only really good in the red zone. So my ability to separate the top of the route and get off bump and run was not that great. But I went to Pro Bowl. I was 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35. So my comment is Dez Bryant's got to get better.
And by the way, when did Buddy send you packing?
When I was 24.
24. Okay.
Yeah, after my third year in the league.
I got you.
You know, so I was late to develop, and I believe wide receivers can do that. But Dez has got to get better. All wide receivers want the football. They want the ball in their hand. And they don't care what the score is because they believe that if they have the football, their team has a better chance to win. Now, Dez has a problem. And the problem is with himself. If you watch the film, he don't get clean releases off the line. He is not evolved. He can't play the slot. So for me, the problem is look at yourself and try to improve your game because you don't have all this history with Dak. So Dak is playing the quarterback. This is the way it's supposed to be played. I'm going to go through my read progressions, and whoever is open is going to get the football. And all that stuff Dez been doing for years, it don't mean anything to Dak because he just got there.
Right.
And he's trying to hold on to his job, and he knows that if I look over my shoulder and I start getting out of my reads, then they're going to come for my job.
I agree with a lot of that. But we all have it like, and I told Skip earlier, CC, is that I was an average receiver, but I was a damn good tight end. And we all want the football. We all want to win. But I felt a lot better about the win when I had 100 yards and a couple of touchdowns as opposed to one catch. Because you look at Dez, he's been targeted 41 times. He's only caught 16 of those passes. He's only had, one game of more than 4 catches. Now, Dez Bryant is the guy. Before he got injured, Dez Bryant was mentioned with the Julio Jones, the Antonio Browns, the A.J. Greens. All those guys were lumped into all those guys were in a basket.
Not me, but other people.
Yeah, he was lumped.
I had him outside that class, but go ahead.
He was lumped in that basket. So 2 games this season with 1 catch. Now, he wants to complain. You can see it, but he can't because they're winning. He, as much as the Dallas fans love some Dez Bryant, they would crucify him if he were to complain about his role in the offense at this present time. So he's trying to like, man, hey, I'm happy about winning because CC, you work hard all week. You put in that time, extra time in the film room, taking tape home. Only thing you're looking for is the payoff on Sunday. Let my hard work come to fruition.
Absolutely.
When it doesn't come to fruition and you win, you're like, whew, can't say anything. Rod got his, Ed got his, but we winning. Shannon, you can't say anything. But
you want to.
But you want to.
Always.
And that's Dez because Dez is entering his prime. I'm entering my prime. I see a guy 14 years in. He's getting 14 targets a game. I see a guy that's undrafted. He's getting 7, 8, 9 targets a game. I'm getting 4 targets with 1 pass. That ain't good enough for me.
Oh, I understand. Because I used to watch the game. I'm Minnesota, Central Time Zone. Was in Philadelphia, Eastern. Michael and I, very good friends. Michael Irvin. Jerry Rice and I, good friends. I watched that game. I'm seeing who played first. How many did they get? Michael had 7 for 150. Hey, coach. I go to Bill like, hey. I don't care what they playing. So wide receivers were very, very different. Uh-oh.
I'm a big Cowboy supporter, and I have loved me some Dez Bryant for years. This is his 7th year in the league, and 2 years ago, he and Tony Romo were the dominant duo in this league. And I don't think he's ever going to fit into Dak Prescott's offense the way he always did with Tony Romo. Because remember, the owner loves him some Tony Romo, but he loves him some Dez Bryant too. And Dez knows that in the end, the owner will have his back to a fault. I think the owner has spoiled Dez a little beyond repair. So all of a sudden, the new kid comes in, 4th-round pick from Mississippi State, and he changes the whole culture. He changed the way they play football on offense and defense. It's contagious. They've cleaned it up. It's no more high-risk, high-reward Romo throwing the sugar deep to Dez and hoping he can just out-jump ball 2 defensive backs, because that's the way they used to play. They don't play that way. As you said, I'm going through my progressions. And if you are supposed to get the ball, you will get it. And if I call your number, we call your number, and you don't run your route hard enough, I'm going to get on you. I don't care how old I am and how decorated you are as a receiver. And yesterday, I don't exactly know what happened. The commentator said Dez just didn't run his route hard enough. And as we talked about, Dez went to him as they were coming off the field, and you mentioned he put his hand on him. Dak grabbed Dez. But he reamed him, He criticized him. And I don't know how Chris Carter or Shannon Sharp would have taken that from a kid quarterback, as he's won 7 games, 7 in a row. But would you take it? Would you stomach it? Would you live with it? I don't think either one of you would. Am I right?
No.
Well, for one, I think you jump into a little head by putting Dez in the class of us, too. First
okay, that's fair.
You got to
know
stop
what?
that.
Okay, you know what? I will buy that. Plus,
so
to your point.
But him being a rookie, that is significant.
Okay, all right.
Yes.
Because they're trying to train him. And this is the one thing that Dez is missing now. He can't ad-lib. Man, we're playing the Dallas Cowboys on Thanksgiving. Darren Woodson in the corner, they got me bracketed in the slot.
Okay, you did have Randy Moss, but right? Is that what you? Okay.
Well, Randy Moss happened to be on the field, but my numbers was real good before we even met. But they had me double team. I was supposed to run a 12-yard dig inside.
Right.
Woody was inside there. I threw my hand up and ran a post corner. Brad Johnson double clutch, threw it to the corner. Brian Billy said, "What was that?" I said, "That's new. Put it in the playbook." So we have more variety because we spent time together. Dez and Romo ad-lib a lot. And Dez is getting less opportunity. When I reach the ball back here and get it to my tailback, Zeke, 19 carries, 18 carries. Alfred Morris, another 17, 16 carries. That's 35 to 40 plays gone. To play the quarterback at Dallas is easy now. You only got to play 25 to 30 snaps. They have shortened the game. So that's the overall influence on the team that you're talking about.
But here's the problem with Dez also, is that Dak doesn't have any bad habits. Tony Romo got bad habits. He will force the ball to Dez. See, it's easier to train a rookie, and I hate to say train, but it's easier to teach a rookie what to do as opposed to taking a veteran guy because he already has his way of playing the game. Tony Romo has his way of playing football. No matter how careful they tell Tony he needs to be with the football.
You are exactly right.
He can't, because that's not the way he plays.
Right.
You got Dak Prescott, a 4th-round draft pick. He will do if they tell Dak, we want you to drop back 10 steps, throw the ball 50 yards. Dak going to drop back 10 steps. He's going to throw the ball 50 yards. So he has no bad habits right now.
Peyton Manning last year, he had to change his whole game for them to win the Super Bowl.
Exactly.
Okay.
And so that's the problem that Dez is going to have with Dak moving forward. He has no bad habits. He won't force the football. He's going to, whatever his read is, 1, 2, 3, wherever he's supposed to go, if it's not there, he's scanning. He's going to check it down or he's going to take off. 5, if it's a 5-step drop to bang, if Dez is not there, he's not forcing it to Dez. And that is a good thing. And Dez has a hard time doing that because he could, like Chris said, he could always throw up his hand and Tony would give him an opportunity.
He would.
Dak Prescott is not going to do that.
Okay, so,
and we can blame it on a lot of people. But at the end of the day, football, the rules have changed. Over 97 years, the rules have changed. The size of the ball has changed. Everything's changed. Technology. But let me tell you something hasn't changed about football. You guarding me. Deion Sanders, he in that cat cover. What's that, Deion? I got that cat. I'm going to shut this cat down.
That you man football. You got that man.
It's me and you. Denny Green would be like, Chris Carter, you going to win your matchup today. I'd be like, yes, sir. He said, even when they double team you. Yes, sir. So Dez is not only not winning, but he's getting single covered. So I don't believe that they can get rid of Dez because when you come down the stretch, late November, December, and they start putting 8, 9 hats in the box, he can balance the field for the Cowboys. Most teams are right-handed teams. The Cowboys are a right-handed team, even though they have the left tackle that's dominant. All right? So they run to their right an awful lot. The tight end is on the right-hand side. So you need someone on that short side, the X receiver, who can be dominant in the playoffs and in late in December when the weather changes.
Okay, but can he ever become this quiet, content hog?
No. We ain't gonna why we got to be quiet? Everybody, why we got to be quiet?
No,
we don't have that in our DNA. No.
He because he is what he is now. Maybe if you'd got to him as a rookie, that's what I tell guys. Unless they change their behavior however you are as a rookie, if someone doesn't get to you, it's hard for you to change your behavior. You have to look within and say, you know what, I want to change. But Dez has been doing it this way for 7 years now.
Yeah.
He's not changing. Mm-hmm. That's the key. He's had success doing it this way. So how can you expect him to change when he's gone to Pro Bowl, been an All-Pro, doing it that way?
There's a little Steph Curry going on here, because I believe, and I talked to some people this morning, there's about 80, 85%. Steph Curry in the finals, in the playoffs, not necessarily healthy. So be careful as far as how we're evaluating, because football players will play hurt. So I don't see the separation. I don't see the explosion. Those 50-50 balls, no one was better than, besides Calvin Johnson.
He's not fully healthy, you think?
Yes.
Yeah.
But let me ask you a question. When you went on the field, did the fans care whether or not you was healthy? All they saw was 80 with what on the back of the jersey? Carter. So they expected you to do what? Make the plays.
Yeah, but I'm not comparing myself to Dez. I don't believe we're in the same category.
But my thing is, no, you shouldn't. But I'm saying as a player,
yes,
if you step on that football
responsibility, coaches, teammates, and everybody. You picking up the check? We get paid on Mondays, right? You picking up a full rate check? I want a full rates job.
No mercy. Ezekiel Elliott's 2 touchdowns helped the Cowboys win their 7th straight game yesterday. Elliott leads the league in rushing, prompting former Vikings Pro Bowler and current Fox Sports analyst Robert Smith to compare Elliott to Hall of Famer and fellow Cowboy Emmitt Smith. Smith tweeted, Ezekiel Elliott is a better runner, blocker, and receiver than Emmitt Smith. Don't know if he'll have the same career, but clearly better. Chris Carter's still with us, but Shannon, let me start with you. Do you agree that
no.
better than Emmitt?
Watch your language.
I didn't tweet it. I didn't tweet it.
Hold on. First of all, comparison would be Ezekiel Elliott reminds me of Emmitt Smith. That is a comparison. Okay, these are the 3 things that all running back, these are the only 3 things they can do on the field. They can run the football, they can catch the football, they can block in the blitz. He said Ezekiel Elliott is a better runner, better receiver, better blocker. Emmitt Smith ended his career 18,355 rushing yards, 160 rushing, 100, what? I'll make sure I get this right, because I don't want to shortchange him, CC. 175 total touchdowns, 164 rushing, 11 receiving. You telling me a guy in his 8th game of his rookie year is better than this guy? Robert Smith, I know you went to Ohio State, and I know the love. CC, you went to Ohio State, but you wouldn't dare say something like that.
By the way, they played together for 8 years in Minnesota, something like that?
Yeah, but this is the Monday morning, come on, man. I mean, this is what we need when we're doing shows like this. What we need is a Hall of Fame hotline. Because we're doing social media now. People just say stuff randomly. But we need a show like this where the Hall of Famers from any sport, because we have all these topics, a Hall of Famer should be able to call in and be able to say something.
Yeah.
Because 24,000 people have played in the National Football League over 97 years. All right? There's 305 of us in the Hall of Fame. And for me, I take exception to with the 171 that are still alive when people just take these random takes and just throw down our legacy just all of a sudden through half a season. Now, all of a sudden, 18,000 ain't no big a deal. Now, I agree with Robert. He is a better receiver out of the backfield.
Yes.
He is a very good blocker. I don't know if he's a better blocker than Emmitt. He's utilized more in blocking than Emmitt was utilized.
Correct.
No, wrong. Wrong. You're both wrong about that. Well, I'll get to it in a second.
Go ahead.
You're
go
wrong.
ahead. Go ahead.
Wait, okay, so Ezekiel's he's not a better receiver
He's
than
not
Emmitt.
utilized more in blitz pickup. Emmitt was the master of blitz pickup. He blocked constantly.
No, blitz pickup is a constant for any running back in the league, okay? But Emmitt Smith is what we call a football player, all right? This is not the combine. It's not height, weight, speed. The dude can play the game. And his ability to be available, 11 straight 1,000-yard season. So I'll give Robert Smith that. Zeke's a great player. I know Zeke going to be a great player in the league. I'll give Zeke a 10-year career, okay? Skip, I'll give him 1,400 yards. I'll give him 15 touchdowns a year for 10 straight years. That would be an unbelievable career, right?
Yes.
But, bro, he would still be way, way short of Emmett.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about way, way short.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so for me, I try to stay out all these comparisons. I like let's see it a little bit.
Let the body of work.
Let's just see it a little bit, because you just can't randomly say, just like people have been saying for years, oh, he's better than Jim Brown. Well, now we're looking 50 years later. Are these players better than Jim Brown? Adrian Peterson? No, they're not better than. So at the end of the story, typically they end up falling short of these great legends that we've seen, and there needs to be a little more respect put on that. 18,000 yards, 175 touchdowns.
Skip, before you go, I tweeted last night. I said, Von Miller, this is why Von Miller is the best pure pass rusher in the game. I said, I've never seen a guy bend like him other than Derek Thomas.
DT, yes.
That was the only guy. Then everybody said, well, Lawrence Taylor. I'm not saying who's the better player.
Quit reading your Twitter responses. But I told you. It's going to pollute your brain.
No, Skip. I like to engage, because I like to think that people really, when they tweet me, they really want to know from a guy that played the game that's in the Hall of Fame. But Skip, CC, 8 games into a guy's rookie year, you're saying he's better. Nobody in the 97-year history has rushed for more yards, more touchdowns. Only Jerry Rice has more touchdowns. And after 8 games, you're going to say this? It's blatantly and openly disrespectful.
Okay. I want to pay some respect to my close friend Robert Smith. And again, you played with him in Minnesota, but he was a Pro Bowl running back. He's not a Hall of Famer. He stopped his career a little prematurely because he just thought he'd taken a little too much punishment. But is it fair to say he was a pretty good running back in the league?
Yes, he was.
Very good player.
Is it fair to say he's a smart man? He's a very smart man. So I was there in Dallas with Emmitt Smith from the start. I carefully watched and covered and wrote 3 books about teams that Emmitt played on through his first 8 years in the league. So I have a pretty good feel for what he was and what he was not. Ezekiel Elliott is bigger, stronger, and faster than Emmitt. And it's not even close on all 3, because Emmitt was about 5'8", 205, maybe 210. Not in the best shape, but to your point, he could really run with the football. He was a 4.6 40 guy who I never saw get caught from behind. He ran mostly between the tackles because, as Norv Turner, his coordinator at the time, always said, he has the greatest quickness in a confined space I have ever seen. He could get low behind those elephants he had in front of him. Remember Nate Newton and
Larry Allen, Stepnoski, Gogan.
Yes.
He could duck and dart with quickness underneath, and all of a sudden he's in the secondary. Oh, where'd he go? Oh, he's there. 8 yards, 10 yards, 12 yards. Hard to tackle because he avoided contact better than any running back I have ever seen, which is why he lasted to 18,355 yards with some garbage yards in Phoenix. And I'm going to say it because I did not respect Emmitt for going to Phoenix, playing for 2 really bad Phoenix Cardinals.
Okay, we'll take those away.
But they're
That's
just
less than 2,000 yards. We'll take them away.
At 256, throw another 1,000 on there, Barry.
Okay, no problem.
Okay, all right.
17,000.
All right. So, but the point is, he ran up a total that will probably never be eclipsed, but you never know.
Well, if Ezekiel is better than him, he should eclipse that in like 13, 14 years.
There's no way Ezekiel Elliott, running the way he runs with the football, is going to last more than about 6 or 7 years in this league. And I hope I'm wrong about that for the sake of the Dallas Cowboys, but he runs to and through contact constantly, and you guys both know your lifespan is not going to be long when you do that. Emmitt avoided contact. No one ever got that clean, quote-unquote, kill shot. Not that he was going to be killed, but nobody ever could tag Emmitt Smith.
No. He ran with great body length.
Right. It was just unbelievable how he could avoid crushing sort of contact, injurious contact. And for the most part, he pulled hamstrings, but he didn't get, there was no knees or shoulders or head. You know, he could avoid all that. Ezekiel's not going to avoid all that. But just on dominance so far, I got to say, this is a legitimate conversation. And you guys are saying, stop it. But when I look at the numbers, and I was there for Emmitt's rookie year, 3 times he broke 100 yards, and he totaled, as Rookie of the Year running back, 937 total yards. Zeke, through 8 games, has 891. He had 4 straight 100-yard games until the last 2, and he had 96 against the Eagles and 92 at Cleveland because he really wasn't needed in the second half at Cleveland. I'm just saying he is dominating the game. And don't tell me that his offensive line is better than Emmitt's, because it's 50-50, man.
I would take Emmitt's offensive line because I think there's nobody on that line that's better than Larry Allen.
You know what? You well could be right. But my point is, that Zeke is devastating once he breaks free. Remember, Emmett's a 4'6", 40 guy, so he's not just going to flat out run the whole secondary.
There's a bunch of 4'6" guys in the Hall of Fame. There's a bunch of us.
Marcus Allen.
Okay,
There's a bunch of us.
But listen, the acceleration on Ezekiel Elliott, when he hits that edge and cuts up, man, it's devastating. And that's why when he catches the ball out of the backfield, he can be more devastating than Emmett. So it's, again, here's what I want to see. I don't care about the 18,000 yards. I care about Emmett won a regular season MVP. Emmett won a Super Bowl MVP. And until Zeke does those two, pulls off those two feats, I will not say he's better. But he's on the road. You got to say he's on the road.
For the last 5 or so years, haven't we had this discussion from a wide receiver standpoint? Weren't people saying that Calvin Johnson, wasn't he going to be better than Jerry Rice? Bigger, stronger, faster?
Odell Beckham Jr.
All these guys, weren't they going to be? Now he's out the game, and Jerry is still the king. So I'm just not
but
one.
Calvin never played with that kind of passion you guys played with, that sort of aggression.
But the comparison was always there, though. Bigger, stronger, faster.
And they throw the ball way more now than they did.
I like him
then.
now more than I liked it with him. Yeah.
I think Ezekiel's biggest problem is NFL careers are getting shorter.
Sure.
And especially with the helmet contact.
Yeah.
And there's no way he can duplicate the longevity of Emmett.
But can he have the one dominating year like Emmett did, or 2 or 3?
Well, anybody can have that, but we wouldn't be having him on the show for that.
I don't know if anybody can
Robert
have
Smith
that.
said
He's better. Better than a guy that was a regular season MVP, a Super Bowl MVP, 3-time Super Bowl winner, 18,000 yards, 174 touchdowns. That's what Robert Smith said. We're not.
Are we talking about better as rookie to rookie?
No, he said
better.
Hold on, Skip. There's only 3 things a running back can do on the field. He can run the football, he can catch the football, he can block. He said he's better in all 3 of those things, meaning he is a better player now than Emmitt Smith was.
Yeah.
He's absolutely wrong.
Okay, but can you make a case, because I could, that from game to game, Zeke has already been as dominating in any single game as Emmett ever was in any single
game? No. You watch that. You watch the Giants when he played with a separated shoulder.
You know what? It wasn't separated.
Okay, I'm making a case.
He had a stinger, and he wouldn't take an injection at halftime. I got it from the trainer. The locker room was not happy with Emmitt Smith for not taking. He didn't like needles, and he wouldn't take an injection.
No, I don't like needles. I wouldn't take them either.
Okay. Here's the thing, though. We're going to New York, and the only case I'm making is a suitcase. I got my clothes already packed. You cannot make no case right now. 8, Skip. You're saying 8 games into his rookie year, Robert. No, you
have some respect for the game.
Robert Smith.
Have some respect for longevity.
That's disrespectful.
I'm having respect for a young man who is dominating the National Football League.
Skip,
that's what he's doing.
Yeah, 9 games.
My words were, I said, for him to be taken that high, he needed to be Adrian Peterson. Now, he looks to be along that path, but we got to see him get 2,097 and be MVP.
Remember, Emmett was about quantity as opposed to one-year quality. But if we're just doing quality to quality, Zeke's right there with him.
He didn't say that.
Quality.
He didn't say his rookie year is comparable. Right. He said he is a better player than Emmitt Smith. Doesn't know if he'll have the longevity of Emmett, but he is a better player. Right. Those are his words.
Right. That'd be like somebody starting a show 8 weeks ago, and they saying, you know something? I'm better at debating than Skip Bayless. You know what?
Oh, they need more than 8 shows.
Okay, last quick point. You have to give Zeke this much credit, and you know this as an Ohio State guy. What did he do on the biggest stage in college football? I know it's college football, but against St. Nick's defense, you remember what he did?
Roll-tied them, ate them whole.
230 yards against St. Nick's defense and 2 touchdowns. And then he goes up against Oregon and goes for 246. So I'm saying he might translate. If they ever do get to playoff Super Bowl, maybe this game is going to translate.
No, Zeke is a freak. Yeah. He's going to have a great career.
All right.
But I'm just saying, Robert Smith, pump your brakes.
No mercy. This week, we are taking the show on the road. We will be live in New York for UFC 205. This Thursday and Friday, we'll be at the Penzi right outside Madison Square Garden. You can come watch the show in person. Be there at 8 a.m., and we will be live at 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Saturday night, Manny Pacquiao defeated Jesse Vargas by unanimous decision. The retired Floyd Mayweather sat ringside for the fight, leading to speculation of a possible Mayweather-Pacquiao rematch. Yesterday, Pacquiao said, quote, if the fans in boxing want that rematch, then why not? Skip, do you agree that Mayweather should or would agree to a rematch with Pacquiao?
I do not. I do not believe that Floyd Mayweather will fight Manny Pacquiao now for any amount of money, not after what he got to see up close and personal on Saturday night in Las Vegas. No way will Floyd risk his undefeated legacy against that. I don't know if you got to watch the fight. I did. I don't think many people probably did watch the fight. But what I saw was a Manny Pacquiao who looked as strong and as quick and as skilled, especially defensively, as I've seen him look in the last 5 years. I thought maybe all of his political responsibility would have taken him too far away from his training. Bob Arum, we had on the show, suggested maybe that's going to be a problem for this fight. It was not. He punished a pretty good fighter in Jesse Vargas with a strong chin and a big heart, who stood in and took a lot of punishment from Manny and managed to stand on his feet. But late in that fight, Manny, who said afterwards that it was his idea to invite Floyd to the fight, looked over at him sitting ringside and grinned at him as if to say, you want some of me when I'm healthy? Because I'm going to say it again. The greatest break of Floyd Mayweather's career was that 3 weeks before his fight with Manny Pacquiao, Pacquiao tore his rotator cuff. Pacquiao needed the money badly enough that he decided he would risk fighting basically one-armed or one-handed in that fight. He tried to get a pain-killing injection from the Nevada state officials, and they declined because they said the paperwork wasn't right. I don't know what went on behind the scenes. I don't know who blew that. But he fought him with no painkiller and needing surgery the following day. Total rotator cuff, which you've had the surgery. He needed it the next day. Mine was scoped.
That wasn't extensive as his.
All right. And now he is back, finally back. I wasn't sure what I would see. I paid for the fight just to see what was left of Manny Pacquiao. A whole lot is left of Manny Pacquiao. And my point is that I thought he did pretty well against Floyd with one arm. In fact, I had him ahead on points just because I was taught, as a young man following the boxing game, that the aggressor wins the round. And Manny was the aggressor in every round as Floyd ran and basically ran a marathon trying to avoid one-arm Manny Pacquiao that night in Las Vegas. I wish these two had fought 5 years ago. Obviously, now Floyd's almost 40, 37-40 for Manny. Do I want to see him again? I just want Manny Pacquiao to get one healthy, clean shot at Floyd Mayweather Jr. But my guess is, my educated guess is, that Floyd will turn back into Floyd may or may not weather. As in, he will slow play this, he'll duck and he'll dodge until he'll hope that it will go away. He's not going to risk this for any amount of money.
You want them to fight because you think Manny Pacquiao can beat him. You want it to be
correct.
Manny, that's what you want to see.
Yes, I do.
Do I think there will be a rematch? Yes, but only for the right price. Floyd Mayweather's not taking a fight less than $100 million. The days of him fighting for $20 and $30 million, that's not going to happen.
I got it.
I think he made like $30 million fighting Berto. Now, mind you, Floyd Mayweather hasn't fought in 14 months. Mm-hmm. So he was at that fight. He was at the fight for one reason. Is it going to be worth my time to come back out and fight out of retirement? And he's looking at Pacquiao because he doesn't want 50 to be 49-1. He wanted to be 50-0. If he takes this fight, regardless of the money, and I believe it's going to be upwards of $100 million, he's only going to take this fight if he believes he can beat Manny Pacquiao. And if he takes this fight, he believes 1,000% that he's going to beat Manny Pacquiao. And I saw a little bit of the fight, Skip. He did. Manny looked good. And look, when Mr. Arum was on here talking about how he was doing his Senate duties in the Philippines, and then he was going to train afterwards. After those long days, I was like, I don't really know what to expect.
I agree with you.
And I think he shocked everybody with the amount of practice that he was getting in, how well he did look. Now, we know Floyd stays in shape. But there's a difference between staying
I think he's like born in shape. You know, like I don't think he even has to work that hard at it.
But there's a difference between being in shape and being in boxing, training, fighting shape.
Yep.
Those are entirely two different things. That's a entirely different mindset. His mindset has not been in the fight game in 14 months. Now, how soon can he get his mind recalibrated and says, okay, I'll take this fight. This is the dollar amount. Because normally he fights in May or he fights in September. I'm thinking he's probably going to want to fight around May 5th. He likes fighting around Cinco de Mayo Day.
Yep.
He likes that date. So basically in about 6 months' time, he would have to get back in peak training, fighting shape. Mindset also. But if someone come up with $100+ million and he's going to get X amount percent of the closed circuit TV revenue, there's no question.
Let's say it's $100 million on the table. Would he really risk his legacy, undefeated legacy for that? I say no.
Yep.
The legacy, the and O is too important.
Floyd, take this fight so you can shut Skip
run,
up.
Floyd, run.
I just want you to shut Skip up. I'm going to be there, Skip. Look, I haven't been to a fight in a very long time, and I know the tickets, the price is going to be astronomical. But I'm willing to come out my pocket because I want to be there. And you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pay for you to be there. Because I want you to be there when Floyd go 50-0 and there'll be no more discussion.
If they fight again, Undisputed will be on the scene. Trust me.
I want to make sure.
What about me? I can't get a ticket?
Oh, you can come.
We'll take our show.
Yeah. I won't Skip because I need Skip to be there. I need him to witness it. Mm-hmm. So when after Floyd demolish him again, you'll be done with this conversation.
He didn't demolish him the last time.
Joy, stop.
This is what I believe, Shannon. This is what I believe.
No, you do not believe that.
I also believe he is not taking this fight because if he loses, he's going to have to fight again.
He's not going to lose.
Mm-hmm. Anything can happen.
All I know is
anything can happen.
He's made that long walk to the ring 49 times. Mm-hmm. He's taken that long walk back to the dressing room. Guess what, Skip? And still, and new champion of the world, Floyd Money Mayweather.
How does 49-1 sound to you, Michael Buffer?
It sounds like you're hallucinating.
No mercy. This is the Skip and Shannon Undisputed podcast, where we're delivering you an unscripted, unfiltered, undisputed version of the biggest topics of the day's show. Be sure to subscribe to the podcast on iTunes, like us on Facebook at Undisputed on FS1, follow on Twitter at Undisputed, and catch us at 9:30 a.m. Eastern, 6:30 Pacific, Monday through Friday on FS1. You can find us on Channel 219 on DirecTV, 150 on Dish. Thanks for listening. We'll be back tomorrow when we're joined by Nelly. We'll see you on Tuesday. Fox Sports 1 of 1.